Hey, Facebook Live. This is Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell with WHES 11. We will get started in just a moment with our live stream for our Easter weekend forecast. We do have some storm chances around, but thankfully not looking like a washout for us here in Kentuckiana. Just a few showers and storms that you may have to dodge this weekend, especially in southern Indiana. So we will break down the timing on that. We're going to talk about the warmth that's sticking around. Just give us another minute or two for a few more folks to hop on here and to make sure that we're streaming on all of our platforms, and we will get started soon. All right, seems like we are up on all of our platforms. I'm going to pop myself up here once again. Chief Meteorologist, I thought my mic was going to drop. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell with WHES 11 in Louisville, Kentucky. We cover southern Indiana and much of north or central Kentucky, depending on how you view the map here. We're going to talk about our Easter weekend forecast, the warmth that's sticking around, and some storm chances as well. So let's go ahead and just dive in. Starting off with a live look outside from our Bachman Auto Group U of L health camera. That's over, of course, Waterfront Park, the Great Lawn there, which is still a bit of a muddy mess, but the river looking a lot different than it did even just a week ago. Today was a warm one. We had high temperatures climb into the 80s this afternoon. That was after starting off in the 50s this morning. So you can see our average high is 71 for this time of year, and the record is 90. We were well above that average, but not quite to the record. And we were 10 degrees above normal for our morning low this morning. Average low is 49. We topped out at 59. Or we started off, at 59 this morning. Now, if we do take a look at our April rain check, of course, we've had a lot of rain this month. Today, we did manage to stay dry, warm, and windy. But so far this month, we've picked up almost 8 inches of rainfall in Louisville. Our average to date rainfall, so that means at this point in the month, we've usually picked up 2.7 inches on average. The month of April gives us about 4.5 inches on average of rainfall. So obviously we have surpassed the month to date average. We've surpassed the monthly average just in general, and we are just over halfway through the month. But this is the great news. After cresting at 36.63, I believe, feet last Wednesday, so not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that, the Ohio River is now down to 13 feet. Normal pool is 12 feet, and flood stage starts at 23 feet. So we are 10 feet below flood stage, and we are well below where we were when we had that 8th highest crest on record for the Ohio River in downtown Louisville, that upper gauge here. So temperatures across much of Kentuckiana topped out in the upper 70s and low to even mid 80s today. Tomorrow we're looking at a high around 80 degrees in Louisville, 82 on Easter Sunday. And then when we cool down behind a front Monday and Tuesday, we won't really be cooling all too much. We're still talking high temperatures in the mid 70s before we warm right back up by the middle part of next week. So if you've been waiting and wishing for some warmer weather, this extended forecast is definitely for you. And you can see here with the temperatures across the region, we're not the only ones seeing those temperatures in the 70s and lower 80s. It's across most of the Commonwealth, down into Tennessee as well. Charleston, West Virginia made it up to 88. In one of our earlier newscasts, I pointed that out. 81 in Detroit, 84 in Pittsburgh. So it is warm all across the region here. But of course, today was also windy. And as of the latest update, we still had a wind gust at the Louisville airport of 37 miles per hour. So a warm and windy Good Friday. And if you're heading out this evening, expect those conditions to continue. It's going to be breezy, it's going to be mild, but it's going to be dry. Max HD radar showing dry conditions for us, just some clouds that have been moving in and out of the area. So we had more sunshine early this morning and then cloud cover thickened up this afternoon. We're watching some of these storms you can see developing in Illinois that will be heading up to Indiana. That's going to be along a front that moves in from the west and northwest tonight. So your hour by hour forecast for the rest of your Friday evening. Once again, that sun will be setting in the next hour here, but conditions staying warm and breezy. That front setting up off to our northwest, and then we will have some isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms. It looks like more so early Saturday morning. Some of these could have, some gusty winds, some heavy rainfall, lightning as well. But you'll notice the placement. Primarily our southern Indiana counties, so around Bedford, Seymour, North Vernon. I think as far south as Jasper, Paoli, Scottsburg. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that isolated activity does make it down to the river, so into the Louisville metro area. But you'll notice a trend this weekend in that these storms are really wanting to set up in southern Indiana. And then really the outflow from those storms could spark additional storms when we start to heat things up by Saturday afternoon and evening. But you'll notice here, not everybody is seeing rain. In fact, if you live around the parkways or areas southward, most of your weekend it's looking pretty dry. So this is 7 p.m. Saturday through Saturday evening, Saturday night. More of those waves of showers and storms primarily to the north and northwest. We are definitely on the southeastern edge of this weather system, so we're not going to get a ton of rain out of this. You can see the severe weather outlook for tonight staying far off to our west and northwest. If I even zoom into our viewing area, level 1 out of 5 clips portions of Jasper, Bedford, Seymour. That's that storm chance that takes us into the very early morning hours of Saturday, where maybe a couple of those storms could be strong. And then for Saturday, this is more so the afternoon and evening threat. You can see level 1 out of 5, primarily from E-Town northward, northwestward. We could see a storm with hail or wind, but we're just not too worried about our severe weather threat for this weekend, which is good news. And then for Sunday, you can see it's all off to our west. So this is really more important for anybody who might be traveling for the Easter weekend. If you're heading to St. Louis, you can see much of Missouri into western Illinois, Arkansas, and down into northern Louisiana, far eastern Texas, included in a level 2 or 3 out of 5 for the severe weather outlook on Sunday. So for us, in terms of our Easter Sunday, I do think we could still have some rain on the radar during the morning hours. So keep that in mind as you head to service on Sunday. If you're heading to brunch, anything in the morning, you might need that umbrella, especially along and north of the river. There's that trend again. But the model's really wanting to lift northward with that weather system. So this is going to bring in the warmth and humidity on Sunday, but keep us mostly dry. That is until Monday morning, when the low pressure system and the front finally swings through here. This is the European model that I just showed you, European weather model. This one's slower than the American weather model, but still talking Monday morning in terms of that front swinging through, which is great news because the later that storm system moves in for us, the lower the severe weather risk with that cold front. And then this gives you a visual of where rain is expected to set up this weekend. So this takes us through Monday. Let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I believe this actually takes you through Tuesday, to be honest. It's days 1 through 5. But for us, it's through Monday. You can see where the heaviest rainfall is in the reds and that orange color. So Oklahoma, Missouri, up to St. Louis, just north of Dallas, it looks like, portions of Kansas as well. If I zoom into our area, Indianapolis will get a lot more rain this weekend compared to us. So if you're heading up to Indy for Easter weekend, you might be dodging more rain showers and storms than those of us here in Louisville. So the lighter greens, that's about 1/4 of an inch to maybe 1/2 of an inch. And then the blues, that's more so 3/4 to about 1 inch. So it really looks like we'll get about 1 inch or less of rainfall for the most part through this weekend, which once again is good news because we do not need any more rain, as I'm sure we all realize. Now some Easter weather extremes, just taking a look back at some historical weather for Louisville. Warmest Easter, of course this takes into account it always falling on a different date. 87 is the warmest, that was back in 1910. The coldest, a low of 20 degrees in 1964. The rainiest, you may remember this. This wasn't too long ago, 2017, 1.39 inches of rainfall on Easter Sunday. And the snowiest was way back in 1970 with almost 6.5 inches of snowfall. And here's that 7-day forecast. So 40% is not for everybody. When we forecast for the 7-day, that's really specifically for Louisville. So I would say, you know, if you live up near Seymour, you might be more of a 60% chance for storms. If you live in E-Town, you're more of a 20% chance for storms tomorrow. So hit or miss showers and thunderstorms Saturday. I think a good chunk of Easter Sunday is trending fairly dry outside of maybe the early morning. And then Monday is looking like a better chance of rain for all of us. I might actually up that to 70% Monday morning. And then once that moves through, we get some dry time Monday afternoon, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then by Thursday and Friday of next week, our weather pattern remains pretty active. So we're going to have storm chances returning, but temperatures staying warm in the 70s and the lower 80s. So here's the, this is the CPC Climate Prediction Center outlook for the 8 to 14 day outlook in terms of temperatures. And you can see the oranges and reds. So if you're a fan of the warmer weather, it does look to stick around for the second half of April. Once again, our average high for this time of year is around 70 degrees. Now, I will say when we talk about warmer weather, it can also lead to stormier weather. Depends on the exact setup, but that is something to keep in mind there. So, all right, I'm going to walk us through the Futurecast one more time, and then we'll just wrap things up here. We'll kind of keep it short and sweet because thankfully our severe weather outlook doesn't seem too bad for us this weekend. But let's take a look at the Futurecast here. Let me make sure this is all squared away. Okay. Oh, there we go. Had to reload it. Okay, so for your Friday evening across Kentuckiana, staying warm, a little bit breezy, of course, and mostly dry. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s. By early Saturday morning, areas like Jasper, Paoli, Bedford, Seymour, Scottsburg, maybe North Vernon, even Madison could see some isolated to scattered showers and storms. The question is, how far south does that move? Does it move into the Louisville metro area? I would plan for a hit or miss shower or storm if you're in Louisville tomorrow morning. I do think we'll get a little bit of midday dry time, and then as we get some more of that heat and humidity by tomorrow afternoon, a few more storms may pop. There is an isolated chance for some of these to go strong to severe, especially along and north of, I'd say, I-64. But once again, we're at a level 1 out of 5 for our severe weather risk for Saturday. That will take us through Saturday night, and then for Sunday, I do think we could have, I'm walking through all these outlooks. For Sunday, I do think we could have some moisture around in the morning. This is Sunday at 8 a.m. This all lifts. We have mostly cloudy skies. Can't rule out a spotty shower or storm throughout Easter Sunday, but really waiting until that line moves in for Monday morning and then off to our east Monday afternoon. So one more look at the outlooks. I know some people like the Storm Prediction Center outlooks. This is for today and tonight. You can see staying off to our northwest, just clipping a few of our counties with that level 1 out of 5 for a strong storm late tonight. And then for Saturday, we're level 1 out of 5. I'll zoom out so you can see where the 2 out of 5 is. That's the yellow. That's really from southern Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma down to Texas. And then day 3, this is Easter Sunday. For anybody traveling west to St. Louis, you have a better chance of seeing some strong to severe storms in Missouri and Illinois. For us, by the time that line reaches us, we're looking at just some rain, it looks like, by Monday morning. And heaviest rainfall from this setup will be off to our west and northwest. You can see where the reds or purples are in this map. So that's from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Illinois. And once again, here's one last look at our 7-day forecast. So very spring-like, a little bit warmer than average. We're expecting highs in the 70s, low 80s, overnight lows in the 50s and 60s, and off and on rain chances. So that's about all I've got here. Once again, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell with WHAS 11 in Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for hopping on here for this stream, and I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe Easter weekend.